Chosen one, God said, your divine rising has arrived. Its promise for you. Chosen one, there is a moment in your journey when everything you have walked through, everything you have endured, everything you have outgrown, suddenly begins to make sense. You begin to see that there was not a single season wasted, not a single tear ignored, not a single night of confusion, isolation, or silence that did not serve a divine purpose. This is that moment. This is the rising. This is the unveiling of what has been forming within you long before it ever appeared outside of you. The divine is not simply rewarding you for what you have survived. The divine is elevating you into what you were chosen to become. You have crossed a threshold that you may not have fully recognized yet, but your spirit knows it. Something in you has shifted. Something in you has awakened. Something in you has stepped into alignment with the life that was always meant for you. You are no longer the version of yourself that was formed through survival. You are the version of yourself that is ready to live, rise, expand, lead, and embody the fullness of your calling. Before we go any deeper into this message, watch this video to stay with it until the end. There are certain words your spirit has been prepared to receive, and they will arrive exactly when they are meant to. And type your warmest wishes along with the number 144 in the comments. Not just wishes spoken from desire, but wishes spoken from belief, because belief is the frequency that activates manifestation. When you write it, you are not only expressing the wish, but you are energizing it, sending it into the field of creation where all things begin to form. You are signaling to the universe, to the divine, to your higher self, that you are open to receive. You are ready. You are aligned. You are welcoming the miracles prepared for you. Chosen one, press the hype button, like this video, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel, and let's start. Now, chosen one, understand this. Your rising did not begin when your circumstances changed. Your rising began the moment your mindset shifted. The moment you stopped identifying yourself through your wounds and began understanding yourself through your wisdom. The moment you stopped trying to prove who you are and simply allowed yourself to be who you are. Your rising began when you stopped chasing validation and started listening to your inner guidance. It began when you stepped back from the noise and allowed silence to become your teacher. The rising always begins internally. Before the elevation comes the awakening. Before the blessing comes the identity shift. Before the abundance comes the alignment. And that alignment has already taken place within you. You have shed layers that no longer belong to your spirit. You have released cycles, patterns, and connections that could not go with you where you are headed. You have outgrown limiting beliefs that once shaped your choices. You have expanded into a higher understanding of yourself, of life, of purpose. You are not who you used to be, and because of that, your life cannot remain what it used to be. There is no returning to old versions of yourself. There is no returning to old environments that could not see your growth. There is no returning to smallness when your spirit has tasted expansion. The divine rising is not only about receiving new blessings, it is about evolving into a new identity that is capable of holding those blessings. Your rising is a recalibration, a realignment, a return to truth, a return to authenticity, a return to your divine blueprint, the version of you that was always meant to exist before fear, doubt, and the world tried to shape you into something smaller. You are stepping back into the fullness of your essence. The divine has been calling you into this. The challenges you faced were not punishments. They were purification. They were removing what was never meant to stay. They were rewriting the relationship you have with your own worth. They were teaching you discernment, because rising requires clarity. Elevation requires self-awareness. Expansion requires inner strength. And the divine has spent time shaping this within you. There were seasons when you felt forgotten, seasons when you felt disconnected, seasons when you questioned why your journey felt heavier or lonelier than others. Those seasons were not signs of abandonment. They were signs of preparation. When you are chosen, your path is not ordinary because your calling is not ordinary. Your growth was accelerated. Your lessons were deeper. Your challenges were more intense. Not to break you, but to strengthen you. Not to discourage you, but to awaken you. Not to diminish you, but to refine you into the vessel capable of carrying the magnitude of the purpose placed within you. There were doors that closed on purpose. There were relationships that ended on purpose. There were environments you had to leave on purpose. Not because you were unworthy of them, but because you were beyond them. You were evolving. Your spirit was rising. Your energy was shifting into a frequency that could no longer be contained in those spaces. And so the divine removed you before you could shrink again, before you could silence yourself again, before you could settle again. You were never being rejected. You were being redirected. You were being positioned. You were being lifted into alignment with something greater. This rising is not just external, it is deeply spiritual. It is a reclamation of your inner authority. You are no longer relying on the world to tell you who you are. You are no longer living based on others' expectations. You are no longer performing for approval or validation. You have come home to yourself. You trust your voice now. You honor your intuition now. You set boundaries without guilt now. You walk away from what dims your spirit now. This is growth. This is maturity. This is alignment. This is divine rising. And because of this, your life is about to change, noticeably, inevitably, beautifully. The divine rising reveals itself first through subtle shifts. You begin to feel peace where you once felt anxiety. You begin to feel clarity where you once felt confusion. You begin to feel strength where you once felt doubt. Then the external shifts follow. New opportunities appear, ones that reflect your evolved self. New connections enter, ones that honor your spirit. New paths open, ones that align with your calling. New resources show up exactly when needed. This is the divine fulfilling what has already been written in the unseen. Your rising is a promise, not a possibility. You are not hoping for this. You are stepping into this. You are not chasing this. You are becoming this. Your rising has arrived, not suddenly, but right on time. The rising you are experiencing is not a moment of excitement. It is a shift in identity. You are no longer waiting for permission to step into your purpose. You are no longer asking for signs to confirm what your spirit already knows. The divine has spoken. Your knowing has settled. What once felt uncertain now feels like truth. You are not questioning who you are anymore. You are accepting it. You are owning it. You are stepping into it with a quiet authority that needs no explanation. You are not trying to convince anyone of your transformation. You are simply living it. And that is what makes this rising unstoppable. It is anchored in embodiment, not performance. This rising is also deeply internal. It is soft but powerful. It is not loud or dramatic. It does not require force or announcement. It is a quiet unfolding, a steady expansion, a calm becoming. You are not the person who needs to prove anything anymore, because your energy speaks for itself. Your presence carries understanding. Your silence carries strength. Your aura carries clarity. You are becoming someone whose alignment communicates more than words could. This is maturity of spirit. This is evolution of self. This is rising with grace, not ego. And as you rise, you will notice that the divine is shifting the way you move. You are no longer in a season of trying to make things happen through effort alone. You are in a season where alignment does what force never could. You are attracting rather than chasing. You are flowing rather than fighting. You are choosing rather than seeking approval. You are guided rather than pressured. You are moving with purpose rather than urgency. The divine rising teaches you that what is meant for you cannot be delayed, denied, or destroyed, only prepared. There will be moments where everything feels too quiet, as if nothing is happening. But chosen one, that silence is not emptiness, it is construction. That pause is not stagnation, it is alignment. The divine is rearranging the unseen, preparing the opportunities, the breakthroughs, the relationships, the resources, and the timing. The rising is not only about who you are becoming, it is about the environment being prepared to receive you. The divine does not release you into spaces that are not ready for your presence. The atmosphere is being set. The path is being cleared. The timing is being sanctified. Do not mistake stillness for delay. Stillness is calibration. Stillness is strengthening. Stillness is integration. Your spirit is catching up with your destiny. Your identity is aligning with your calling. Your inner world is preparing to mirror the external blessings you are about to receive. If the divine released everything before you were ready to hold it, it would have overwhelmed you. But now, you are prepared. Now, your heart is steady. Now, your boundaries are firm. Now, your self-worth is undeniable. Now, you know what you deserve and what you will no longer accept. You have stepped into your divine rising because you are finally choosing yourself. Not out of pride, not out of defensiveness, but out of truth. You are no longer sacrificing your peace for anyone. You are no longer negotiating your worth. You are no longer abandoning your own needs to be understood, loved, or accepted. You are no longer performing for connection. You are no longer shrinking to fit. You are honoring yourself, the real you. The divine rising begins with self-acceptance. Everything else follows. Then comes the clearing. Certain people may drift away, not because anything went wrong, but because they were aligned with your past identity, not the one you are stepping into. They were connected to who you were, not who you are becoming. Let them go gently, not with resentment, but with gratitude. They served their role. They contributed to your growth, but your rising requires alignment, and alignment requires release. Then comes the expansion. New opportunities begin to appear, not because you chased them, but because you matched the frequency of them. Your energy shifted and your reality began to respond. Life always reflects who you believe you are. And now, you believe in your worth. You believe in your purpose. You believe that you are capable of holding everything the divine has prepared for you. This is why expansion becomes natural. The external rises to match the internal. Then comes the confirmation. You will begin to see signs appear in ways that feel personal, precise, and undeniable. You will feel the divine speaking not through symbols alone, but through timing, alignment, clarity, and resonance. You will feel guided, supported, seen, and accompanied. You will begin to understand that you have never walked this journey alone. You were never abandoned. You were being carried. You were being led. You were being prepared for this exact moment. Your rising is evidence that the divine has kept every promise whispered to your spirit, even the ones you forgot, even the ones you doubted, even the ones you thought were impossible. Now they are unfolding, not all at once, but consistently, steadily, gracefully. You do not need to rush anything. Everything is arriving exactly in the timing aligned with your readiness. The divine rising is a return, not to who you were, but to who you always were beneath the fear, the doubt, the wounds, the expectations, and the survival patterns. This is the unveiling of your true essence. This is you, unfiltered, unhidden, unrestrained. This is you in your fullness. You are rising quietly, powerfully, authentically. As this rising continues, you will begin to notice something profound. Your spirit responds differently to life. Situations that once triggered you no longer hold power over your emotions. Words that once wounded now feel light, almost irrelevant. The opinions of others no longer shape how you move or define what you believe about yourself. This is because your identity is no longer external, it is rooted within. You have built your foundation in the unseen, and nothing in the visible world can shake what has been anchored in divine truth. You may find that your reactions are calmer now, not because you don't care, but because you understand. You understand that not everything deserves your attention. Not every invitation to conflict is worth accepting. Not every misunderstanding is yours to correct. Not every space is meant for your presence. Your peace has become more valuable than your need to be right. Your clarity has become more important than winning arguments that don't matter. You have learned the sacred art of walking away, not out of weakness, but out of wisdom. This is the maturity of someone who has risen. Your discernment has sharpened. You can feel the difference between what aligns and what drains you. You can sense when something is forced, and you have no desire to push. You can feel when something is natural, and you allow it to unfold without haste. You don't chase, you don't beg, you don't cling, you allow, you trust. You release. This is your new rhythm of life, a rhythm rooted in surrender, not struggle. And because of this surrender, the divine can now guide you with ease. When you stop fighting for what is not meant for you, your hands become free to receive what is. When you stop trying to control outcomes, you allow divine timing to work. When you stop fearing loss, you open the door to gain. What once felt like uncertainty now feels like trust. What once felt like risk now feels like alignment. What once felt like waiting now feels like readiness. Your rising is also changing your vision. You no longer look at life through a lens of lack. You're beginning to see everything through abundance, purpose, and possibility. You no longer ask, "How will this work?" You now ask, "Who am I becoming through this?" You no longer measure success by results alone. You measure it by alignment, peace, peace, and authenticity. You no longer ask the world to validate you. Your spirit validates itself. You no longer hope for blessings from the outside. You create the vibration that attracts them. You are realizing that your energy is your wealth, your clarity is your compass, your intuition is your guide, and your alignment is your protection. This rising has shifted your relationship with your past as well. You are no longer running from it or judging it. You are learning from it. You are integrating it. You are thanking it. Every wound taught you strength. Every betrayal taught you clarity. Every disappointment taught you direction. Every loss taught you identity. You are beginning to see that none of it was wasted. None of it was meaningless. None of it was random. It was preparation, precise, intentional, necessary. There were parts of your spirit that could only be activated through pressure. There were layers of strength that could only be revealed through challenge. There were levels of trust that could only be built through uncertainty. The divine was not punishing you. The divine was developing you. And now that development is showing. Now your spirit wears maturity. Now your presence carries wisdom. Now your eyes hold understanding. Now your heart moves with compassion instead of defense. And because you have transformed, your world is transforming with you. You are entering a season where doors open not because you knocked the loudest, but because your frequency matches what's behind them. Opportunities will feel like recognition, not luck. Relationships will feel like alignment, not effort. Breakthroughs will feel like natural progression, not miracles you begged for. You have become the version of yourself who can hold the life you once prayed for. And that is why it's arriving. Your rising is not just about personal transformation, it is about positioning. The divine is placing you in roles, spaces, conversations, and connections that align with your purpose. You are being drawn into environments where your gifts are needed, your voice is valued, and your presence has impact. You are being aligned with people who are also rising, those who lead with integrity, move with intention, and build with vision. These are not relationships of survival or convenience. These are relationships of elevation. Your rising is expanding your influence, not through force, but through authenticity. People feel peace in your presence. They feel clarity in your words. They feel safety in your energy. You don't have to prove anything. Your spirit communicates truth without speaking. You don't have to perform to be respected. Your alignment earns respect effortlessly. This is the quiet power of someone who knows who they are. This is the grace of someone led by the divine. And yes, more will be asked of you now. Not more effort, more awareness. Not more striving, more surrender. Not more pressure, more presence. This chapter is not about doing more. It is about being more. Being aligned. Being receptive. Being grounded. Being guided. Being attuned to the divine whispers within you. The world will try to convince you to rush, but your spirit knows better. Your rise is not hurried. It is ordained. It unfolds in perfect timing. Your only job is to stay aligned with what feels true. This rising is not the climax. It is the beginning of a new era of your life. As you continue to rise, you will notice your sensitivity sharpen, not in a way that makes you fragile, but in a way that makes you deeply aware. You will feel energy more clearly. You'll sense when something resonates and when something disturbs your peace. You'll know when a room is aligned and when it is cluttered with unseen tension. You'll sense intentions behind words. You'll recognize sincerity immediately and hidden motives just as quickly. This is not paranoia. This is discernment. Discernment is the language of the awakened. It is the inner compass gifted to those walking a divine path. You may find yourself preferring quiet more than ever. Silence will feel like nourishment. Solitude will feel like sanctuary. Not because you are escaping the world, but because you are recalibrating your frequency. The world is loud, and your spirit has become finely tuned. Noise can distort clarity, but silence restores it. Stillness is not the absence of movement. It is the presence of alignment. In stillness, you hear what the divine is whispering beneath the surface of your thoughts. In silence, you remember who you are beyond identity, beyond expectation, beyond performance. Your rising also means that your old patterns will no longer feel familiar. Habits that once comforted you will feel heavy now. Environments you tolerated will feel suffocating. Conversations you once entertained will feel dull or draining. You won't be able to remain where your spirit is shrinking. Growth will demand space. Expansion will require new environments. You'll outgrow things quietly, naturally, without confrontation. You will simply feel when it's time to leave. That is evolution moving through you. And yes, some relationships will shift as you rise. Not because of conflict, but because of misalignment. People who once resonated with your old frequency may not understand the person you are becoming. Some will distance themselves. Some will misunderstand your silence. Some will assume you have changed in ways they cannot comprehend. But understand this: not every relationship is meant to last every season. Some people were important for your journey, not your destination. Appreciate their role without forcing their presence. Those who are meant to continue with you will naturally rise with you. Their growth will mirror yours. Their spirit will recognize yours. Their evolution will feel familiar. You won't have to explain your transformation. They will simply understand. These are your soul companions, your divine circle, your spiritual kin. They are drawn to your presence because your elevation validates their own. Together, you will uplift each other without effort, without competition, without fear. You will also begin to understand your emotions in a new way. You will feel deeply, but without drowning. You will allow emotions to move, not suppress them. You will not cling to joy nor resist sadness. Everything you feel has a purpose. Emotions are not interruptions of your path. Emotions are messengers along your path. They show you where alignment is present and where healing is needed. Feeling is not weakness. Feeling is awareness. Your ability to feel is your ability to transform. As you continue to rise, you will notice how your sensitivity to truth becomes almost immediate. You will feel when something is sincere and when it is performative. You will feel when someone speaks from the heart and when they speak from ego. You will feel when you are being guided and when you are being manipulated. This is your intuition expanding. Intuition is the spiritual intelligence of the chosen. It is the knowing that does not need explanation. It is the voice that speaks before thought. It is the awareness that precedes reason. Trust your intuition now more than ever. It has been strengthened through every trial, every test, every heartbreak, every moment of doubt that you overcame. Intuition is the muscle of the spirit, and your spirit has been training for this elevation. Do not overthink what your soul already knows. The more you trust your inner guidance, the easier this rising will feel. The more you try to analyze what the divine is revealing, the heavier the journey becomes. And as your inner world evolves, your external world will follow. The changes may appear gradual at first, almost subtle. A conversation that shifts your direction. A new opportunity that arrives unexpectedly. A door that closes before you can resist it. A connection that feels purposeful. a moment of clarity that feels like remembering rather than learning. Change will move quietly, but firmly. Nothing forced, nothing rushed, nothing chaotic. Everything aligned. This is what divine rising feels like. A sequence of gentle but undeniable shifts, aligning you into who you were always becoming. Your purpose will also begin to clarify. Not all at once, but in layers. Purpose is not something you chase. Purpose is something you embody. It reveals itself as you elevate into the version of yourself designed to carry it. You will begin to recognize your purpose in what comes naturally to you. The way you speak, the way you understand others, the way you create, the way you heal, the way you inspire. Your purpose has always been inside you. Your rising simply makes it visible. And this purpose is not something you will have to force. Purpose flows, it aligns, it attracts. It moves through you effortlessly when you are connected, grounded, and attuned. When you stop trying to shape your life and begin allowing your life to shape itself around your authenticity, purpose begins to lead. It guides your decisions, your movements, your direction. You'll feel a pull toward what is meant for you and a release from what no longer is. This rising is your initiation into a new way of being, not based on striving, but on sensing. Not based on fear, but on trust. Not based on effort, but on alignment. You are not rising into someone new. You are rising into who you have always been. And as this divine rising continues, life will begin presenting you with choices that reflect your new identity. These choices won't be dramatic or loud. They will be subtle, quiet invitations. The invitation to choose peace over reaction. The invitation to walk away from what no longer nourishes you. The invitation to speak truth instead of defending yourself. The invitation to respond with love rather than matching someone's fear. These may seem small in the moment, but they are the architecture of your elevation. Every choice you make in this season becomes a declaration of who you are becoming. The divine rising is not about being unstoppable, it's about being unshaken. True strength is not loud. It is not forceful. It does not need to prove itself or be recognized. True strength is quiet confidence, rooted in clarity. It is knowing who you are without needing others to confirm it. It is moving from purpose, not approval. It is speaking from truth, not fear. Your rising has made you unshakable, not because life became easy, but because you learned how to remain steady within it. There will be moments where you feel an inner expansion that cannot yet be explained. It may feel like anticipation, like something massive is just beyond the horizon. You may feel like your spirit is reaching forward into something unseen, something already pulling you toward it. That sensation is alignment. It is your future calling your present. You are walking into a timeline that has been prepared for you long before this moment. Your rising is simply the moment you became ready to step into it. And now, your energy is shifting in ways that others will feel before they understand. Some will be drawn to you without knowing why, not because of what you say or do, but because of the frequency you carry. When your inner world rises, your external presence changes. The light in your eyes steadies. Your posture softens. Your tone becomes calm, assured, effortless. You don't have to try to be anything. Your authenticity radiates. Your presence begins to heal spaces simply by entering them. But with this rising comes a deeper responsibility to protect your energy. Not from fear, but from wisdom. Not everyone is meant to have access to you. Not everyone is equipped to understand the depth of your evolution. Some connections that once felt necessary will now feel heavy. Some conversations will feel too small to hold who you are becoming. Some habits will quietly fall away. Honor these transitions. They are not losses, they are clarifications. You are not meant to dilute yourself to fit the spaces you've outgrown. You are meant to walk in your fullness, even if that fullness no longer fits what was once familiar. Your rising is not meant to be explained, justified, or defended. It is meant to be embodied. Those who are ready to rise will recognize it. Those who are not ready will resist it. Trust both responses. Neither is wrong. Both are part of the unfolding. You will also notice the divine communicating with you in more direct ways. Through intuitive knowing, through repeated signs, through synchronicities that feel too exact to be coincidence. These signs are not random. They're reminders that the path is unfolding with you, not ahead of you.